Welcome back, everyone. This is episode, I want to say 17 of the
You're
Movie
right, it
Bros
is 17.
podcast. Look at us, who'd have thought? Again, we are your hosts with the most, Duncan and Hayden. Welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, this is two brothers that watch a movie, ramble and banter about the movie, and then post it for you fine folk to listen to. If it isn't your first time, welcome back. I'm glad you enjoyed hopefully the first 15 or so episodes.
Or definitely at least the last 5, where we've been actively making a more behind-the-scenes effort for quality improvement. I hope you enjoyed the last episode, which was Treasure
Treasure
Planet.
Planet. Yeah.
This is going to be a bit of a different tone movie-wise, and certainly not as fantastical, although it does have its comedy elements. We are talking, of course, about 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri from 2017.
If you know this, great. If you don't, look it up. It's worth a watch. It did get quite a number of both nominations and awards. Obviously, that's something we'll probably talk about in a second. But Hayden, who does this star?
And that's our segue into my fast film facts, as it was coined last episode. So this was written by Martin McDonagh and also directed by him, and you would recognize him from things like In Bruges, as well as Seven Psychopaths, as well as
Banshees?
Banshees of Inisherin. That's right. I couldn't remember the name of the island, but yes, Banshees of Inisherin. This stars Frances McDormand, Sam Rockwell, and Woody Harrelson.
And Peter Dinklage.
Oh, that's right. And Peter Dinklage shows
Excuse
up.
me?
He shows up in a bit role towards the end.
No, this is a Peter
For
Dinklage
how
movie, Hayden. Come on.
this is not Cyrano, thank God.
What? I keep seeing stills from that. What is that?
That is a movie musical adaptation of a play about a midget who tries to win the heart of a woman who doesn't know he's a midget.
I
It's
mean, it sounds like it's made for him, to be honest.
it's a Joe Wright movie. I really like his stuff. He did like Pride and Prejudice
Ugh.
and Atonement,
Ugh. Okay, I
and
mean, that's just a rough watch.
it really is. It's so good though. As well as Anna Karenina and the recent
Carolina?
look. Just because you don't know what it is,
It's just
as
funny
well
when
as
you
the
say it. That's all.
recent Churchill biopic starring Gary Oldman.
Oh, Darkest Hour or Finest Hour?
Yeah, it's also
I
a
think it's
very good
Darkest
movie.
Hour.
It's
I
Darkest
liked
Hour.
it. It was. I don't know. There's. It was. I get that it's a. I get what it was, and it was exactly what it was trying to be. But I don't know if it was too slow or too dry for me. But it needed a little something. I don't know.
It was a very cut and dry drama. There's not a whole lot else going on,
Yes.
but that's all right.
Yes.
How
Either
did we
way,
get on this topic? I forgot.
director. I think, or maybe no. Wait. I don't know.
Nope. All right, we're going back to stars. No. Okay, we got there from Peter Dinklage to Cyrano to
Oh,
Joe Wright.
yes. Yes. Okay.
Anyway, that's kind of our rundown of who's in this. It is actually a fairly small cast, but there's a lot going on with everyone involved.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Cinematography is by Ben Davis, and while it is my bad that I didn't actually look up what else he's been in, I don't recognize him by name, and that's my fault.
Yeah, we'll
Music
talk
is
about
by
the cinematography later
we
because
will
I think we have some thoughts on it.
we do. Music is by Carter Burwell, who I enjoy a lot. He tends to work a ton with the Coen brothers. He works a lot with slow dramas set in the West. He's really good at that stuff.
This almost felt like it could kind of be a Coen Brothers movie.
I feel like this was almost too restrained to be a Coen brothers thing.
Well, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like there were some
I
crazy
feel like if
bits.
this got crazier, then maybe, yeah.
Yes, that's all. But I felt I don't know. I saw the similarities.
Oh, I mean, there are definitely moments like, where he
Lots
throws
of
the
Sam
ad
Rockwell
agency guy
stuff.
out of the window.
Yes.
And Yeah, that's kind of my my fast facts I had for today. I would also mention that this was me and Duncan's first time watching through this, both of us. Sometimes when we watch things, it's either one or the other one of us have already seen whatever movie it is, but this was a fresh view for both of us. With that being said, Duncan, let's jump right on in. What are your thoughts?
Let's see. Again, I'm looking at my notes, and since this is the first time watching this, a lot of this is just a stream of consciousness. Uh, was Frances McDormand ever a babe ever, or she always looked kind of not hauntingly like
So
she's always kind of looked. Oof, I don't know.
she definitely
Even
lost weight for this role.
well,
She
no, but
definitely dropped a few
Fargo,
pounds.
even in Fargo, when she's not this
I don't
petite.
know.
Uh,
She definitely looks better in Fargo than she does in this. I don't know if there was ever a point where I would be like, "Oh, she's very attractive." In a way, it's almost similar to how a lot of people view Sigourney Weaver.
I have never understood the like, oh, Sigourney Weaver hype. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. In any movie she's been, not even like, oh, it's just this or that. No, every movie.
I think she is very attractive in Alien
Oh,
1 and Alien 2. After
get the
that,
fuck
it
out of here, Hayden.
after that we get into the realm of bald heads and the one where
Well,
she's
no,
really sweaty the entire time.
well, even
Those
if
are
you,
good
she's
representations.
also the, isn't she in some baseball movie? It's not Bull Durham because that's that other chick, but
A
who also isn't
baseball movie.
attractive. I could have sworn I'm blanking.
If
Maybe
she is, I don't
is
know what
she
it
in?
is.
Oh no, is she in Major League? Is that what I'm thinking?
My only memories of Major League are Charlie Sheen, so I don't
I
know.
mean, fair. Granted, I don't remember much either. Either way, sorry. Either way,
No, no, that's fine. This is a podcast of rambling and tangents. This is what
yeah,
you're here
that's
for.
true. Yeah, yeah. Um,
I have little to no memory of Major League. I don't think she was in it.
okay. Either way, I'm not a huge Sigourney Weaver fan.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Subject
Um,
aside,
back on topic with three billboards.
I also said they set the stage. I think it's pretty immediate. Of like, there's
Oh
no
yeah.
build up to her putting up the sign or putting up the billboards. It's like, hey, they're up.
So why don't we kind of relay the basic plot here? Because I feel like this went under the radar for a great many people, despite it being an Oscar winner and contender in its year. I don't know if
That's
this
true.
had a huge wide view.
I don't think it did.
So this follows Frances McDormand's character, and I apologize, I don't remember what her name was. It's been a couple weeks now,
I feel
unfortunately.
like it started with an M. Mary Lou, Mary Ann, Mary something. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to continue just to say Frances McDormand.
Marlene,
I don't think it was Marlene.
Marlene.
No, you're thinking of Charlene. That's more of a country name.
Okay, all right.
There's a specific country song that's talking about a woman named Charlene who likes John Deere Green.
I wouldn't know.
I'm here to educate you. It's all right. So anyway, this follows Frances McDormand's character buying, as the title of the movie states, three billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, and writing some open questions to the chief of police about why the rape and murder of her daughter was never solved because she feels nothing's being done about it. And all the chaos that ensues personally, professionally, for pretty much the whole town following this decision.
Yeah, and as they showed the billboards in reverse, the next thing I have written down is "How come what?" Because the last billboard is "How come." Um, I
I
just thought
thought
that
the
was funny.
last billboard was no arrests.
No, it was uh
Chief Willoughby.
no, I could have sworn the last one was "How come, Chief Willoughby?" or ask. I know "How come" was in there somewhere. Either way,
I thought it
I
was.
also
Okay. I don't want to continue interrupt you here. I apologize. I thought it was um raped while dying, no arrests. How come Chief Willoughby? Does that
you're
sound
probably
correct?
right. That sounds right. I don't know.
I I don't know. I don't know. But yes, I also have written down that this pretty much jumps right in for how kind of slow paced the whole movie is, the starting is real quick.
Yeah, I mean, something else that also happened early is the subtitles went on early,
Oh, yes. So this has a lot of really thick accents because it's Missouri and they were really playing it up, especially with Sam Rockwell's character.
which I think obviously we're going to get to him, but I mean, between him, his mom, who is also Mac's mom from Always
It's
Sunny in
always sunny.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's just obviously you can watch this however you like, and sometimes I find the subtitles spoil the like comedic timing of lines, but sometimes it's worth it. It's needed. That being said, I don't think subtitles would spoil the comedy of it because this is a dark comedy.
Yes. So a
When-
lot of the comedy in this comes from just conversational comedy. There's no real amount of timing you lose by listening to the subtitles. There are moments in this where I absolutely laughed out loud, as well as cringe, as well as, oh man, this is real sad kind of stuff. Like this, everyone here is acting as their hardest and it really pays off.
Yes, and I think that's why. I mean, obviously, there not maybe a lot of people didn't see this, but yes, it did get awards. But awards shouldn't mean a whole lot. But it did work for me because it wasn't just a drama. It wasn't just a comedy. There's little bits of lots of different themes going on, which I appreciate.
That's very true. I feel like if this was just a drama, it would be too depressing, and I feel like if this was just a comedy, you would lose a whole lot of the emotional appeal you get from both Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand's character alike.
Sure. I mean, literally, my next line that I had written down in my notes is just Sam Rockwell really is great. Like, I think this is when we first meet him in the movie, but I was like, ah, I just like him. He's great. And I referenced him like 3 different times.
I mean, it's earned. I mean, for granted, for 70% of this movie, he is playing an unlikable racist hillbilly, but he does it
Yes.
so well. Like far and away, he's one of my favorite actors just in general. He's
General.
really
Yeah.
good. Just in I don't think I've seen a single thing that he was in that is bad because of him.
But on the flip side, I think he's paired well with Frances McDormand, who I mean, I haven't seen that many of her movies, but even just the bit where she's talking about Crips and Bloods.
Oh, with the priest.
Yo, yeah, fantastic.
Like that there are so many great standalone scenes and
Yes.
standalone clips in this.
Yes.
I wish there was a way for copyright wise we could just play some of the
Play
audio
it.
because
Well,
like
literally, it went from
there
that.
is so much of her just refusing to take bullshit from anyone. It starts out with being, oh, you go kind of character, but then as the movie progresses, she becomes less likable.
Well, it's just it goes literally from that to it goes to Sam Rockwell talking about the torture business, about how he may or may not have tortured someone, a person of color torture, which was again, it's super dark, but it's really funny.
There is a running sort of joke, I
Sort
guess,
of.
where like people will bring up that, oh, you tortured that black guy that's some months ago, and then he report back, no, I torture everyone, I got problems with everybody. Like it is I think what could be said a lot for this movie is that it deals with a lot of very grim, very heavy subject matter, but with a lot of dry humor that comes through and everything to keep it from being just oppressively unhappy.
Which again, I think that's the balance that is well utilized, I guess, is lack of a better word. Something that I don't think I could feel like was utilized was the cinematography.
Yeah, so there are a handful of shots that come across as like
Some
artistic and interesting, but a lot of this movie doesn't feel that way. A lot of it, nothing feels bad, but
well, it's weird. It's like Rango at least
nothing writes home, you know?
well, yeah, well, at least like Rango felt like all the cinematography was based strictly almost by the blocking what the characters needed to be doing. And then like 1917 was like, oh, this actually feels artistic. Like there's an artistic choice behind this. And this doesn't feel like either of those things,
It feels like a weird middle ground, I think. Like there
which
are
I have
moments
no interest in.
where Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm the absolute armchair critic here. I don't know of anything I could point to that say this is what you could do to make it better. But aside from the burning of
Billboards.
the of the billboards,
Yep.
Sam Rockwell's whole drunk scene in the bar, and
Hmm.
then a few of the Chief Willoughby's final days thing, a whole lot of this is doesn't feel creative. It just feels technical, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
I agree. I don't feel that bad for anyone. Maybe like, we referenced this when we watched this, but really, like, her son is kind of the only person who is truly an innocent.
I don't know. I
Everyone
would
else is kind
say
of an asshole
I
to a
would say
certain
maybe
degree.
Woody Harrelson's character.
Like, yes, I guess. I don't
Like,
know.
but I do get what you mean, and I have that written down here. I have Frances McDormand's character does come across as being really one-minded and selfish, and it's understandable why she's like that, but her drive to provoke a response from anyone, especially the police, on her one-minded goal just makes life worse for everyone around her, and she doesn't seem to care.
And then she goes into slipper talk when her slippers are talking. Like,
That
what the
was
fuck was
weird.
that? That was
What
weird, dude.
I, so
That's the part where I'm like, "Oh, is this a Cohen's brother kinda thing?" Like that, you know?
see what I would have attributed the Coen brothers to would be the Peter Dinklage subplot.
Yes, that's also true.
Like in admittedly small doses, that kind of reminded me of things like Raising Arizona, because that's the kind of weird out of left field plot line that they would put in that kind of a movie. So I don't actually have a whole lot written down for this. Again, like you, I think I was just sort of enjoying the movie as we watched it and forgot to look at it critically, which is, I think, something we both need to work on. But what I do have written down is that everyone's an understandable character. They all are
That's
written to
true.
feel like maybe not like the most realist of realistic characters ever, but they all come across as fully three-dimensional in ways that doesn't always happen even in things like 1917, which we just watched. I couldn't tell you anything about Schofield's character. I know the main core cast of this pretty well. Like they all feel like real people, and that they have failings, they have motivations, everyone has like a time to shine, a time to have a strength, to have a weakness. It's good writing, and it's very emblematic of the things that Martin McDonagh will often produce. Things like In Bruges are also very similar to where it's that's a very sad and also very dry comedic movie as well. But you end up kind of feeling for everyone in that in the same way you kind of end up feeling for everyone in this. Maybe not in a way of where oh, I like this person, but it's a I understand where this character comes from.
Yeah, I agree. What else do I don't I mean, I am also the same where I also don't have a ton written for this. I do think we should talk about. I mean, we referenced him already, but Sam Rockwell's redemption in this, again, he's still not a fantastic person, but he
I don't know
becomes
how I
sort of a
feel
good.
about it.
And the makeup they did on him,
Oh
oh
my god.
boy.
Okay, so there's a point, spoilers alert, if if you are thinking about watching this, and I do feel like depending on who you are, you might enjoy this, but there's a point where he has to run into a burning building and save some stuff from being caught up in the fire. He has a bunch of incredibly realistic burn makeup on for like the last half an hour of the movie. It is uncomfortable to look at. It's
Oh,
so
and then he gets beat up at a bar.
oh, he really goes through it the last 45 minutes of his movie. But
Oh, it's not even 45. It's literally like the last like 20 minutes.
see, I'm misremembering that as being longer than it was. But you're right. That is, it wasn't actually that long, but it looks like he's in pain the entire time with how well that makeup
Hmm.
is done.
Yeah, looks really good. That's, I mean, that's more or less all I had written. What would you rate this out of five, including half stars, Hayden? Having only seen it
S-
once.
So having only seen this once and taking it for what it was trying to convey, I actually think this is like a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Why do you
I
say
thought
that?
so. I thought the performances across the board are excellent. I really enjoyed the tone this took, a kind of a semi-serious, semi-comedy kind of a feel. I think the music's excellent. Honestly, my only
Wait,
gripe is that yeah,
you thought the music was excellent?
yes, I listened to it on Spotify for like a week afterwards.
I don't know. I never
It's
like maybe
it's 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 certainly more subdued and it's
a little
certainly
more
more
subtle.
subtle, but I really like it. I think it's got some
Huh.
like really punchy like melancholy vibes. I don't know how else like it was I really enjoyed it. Um, but
Okay.
my
Okay.
only real gripe from this is the cinematography is really underwhelming. I think to have every other aspect of this movie come across so well, and then the cinematography seemingly kind of drops the ball, that takes it down for me from being honestly, this movie could have been perfect for what it was trying to do.
Sure. No, I get that.
And what's your score?
I I gave the movie a 4 to 5 because yes, the cinematography just kind of did nothing for me. I didn't really notice the music.
It is very understated, and they actually use a lot of maybe not period country music, but certainly music from like the 40s and 50s in some scenes.
Sure, and that's again, that's fine. There's a couple parts that, really worked for me, but there was never like a I was never super engrossed in it. I didn't feel like myself like losing myself in the story and the narrative. But obviously it's harder to connect with like racist hillbillies and distraught like mothers to like raped and killed daughters. I don't know, maybe I'm just not that person. I'm
Well,
not
I
that
mean,
empathetic.
everyone is empathetic towards things they obviously can't choose.
So that's why I gave it a
So
4 to 5.
all right,
I
well, I
don't
mean, that's still also again very close to what I would have picked.
I know the cast is small. Would you recast anyone?
Would I recast? Honestly, no. I think with how good, I mean, even Woody Harrelson
I was just
does
thinking, I was like,
very well
honestly,
in this.
even Woody Harrelson, I like.
I and one of the things I was gonna circle back on my list here is that Woody Harrelson is great in this. I wish he did more semi-dramatic stuff because the only thing that comes to mind are movies like Zombieland where he's playing something stupid. I think he's really good in this. And
Have you
even though
not
and
seen True Detective season 1?
oh god, you're right. He's in
And he's
so
excellent in that.
much he really is. Again, so much of what stands out from that season is Matthew McConaughey though.
Well, sure, yes, but you gotta have
No,
them
don't
both.
get me wrong. He's great in that. I'd simply forgotten. He's also in a movie called The Messenger, where he plays a guy in the military who has to deliver news about soldiers who have passed away to their next of kin. I don't know if you could pay me to watch that again. It was so sad, but he's also really good in that. I wish he would do more serious stuff. I think he's actually a great actor.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough watch. I don't think I have any interest
I
in,
Yeah,
watching
I
that one.
mean, it's good. I don't know if I would choose to watch it again. It's a rough watch. So we mentioned the racist hillbilly angle here with Sam Rockwell. So I like that the audience isn't immediately clued in to that's who his character is, because when we first meet him, when we're seeing Chief Willoughby's reaction to the billboards on the side of the road, he's there for like comedic laughing, and he's the bumbling comedy relief. And then as the story goes, you get more backstory on him. You get to see how he treats other people from the ad agency
Mhm.
guy, which in the one single take of him beating him up and throwing him out of a two-story window, which is almost funny, but definitely not. I like
Almost.
the yes, I like his character's evolution from this, as starting out from the bumbling comedy, we're starting and then we kind of peak in the middle with he almost feels desperate to try and please Chief Willoughby and help him out
Oh, for sure.
and as he sees it, get Francis McDormand's character off his case, because a lot of what comes across in this is that his character is supposed to be excusable in the way that he's literally not smart enough to know any better.
Oh, sure, he's the village idiot that, like, people just kinda put up with.
Yeah, and so when even when he's doing things that are obviously wrong and obviously questionable, and at one point during the movie, I was like, okay, so he's the villain, but it is
Again, yeah, I wouldn't call him the villain though.
more accurate to say that he's mentally incompetent to the point where he doesn't know what he's doing is wrong.
But he's also not so far mentally incompetent that like, oh, he can't speak in sentences or like
Well,
needs
I
a
didn't mean he was
helmet.
like brain damaged. I just
Well,
mean
no,
that
I
he
know. I'm
was.
just saying like he's just yeah.
And then towards the end we kind of get the end of his character's journey, if you will, to where he does actually try to be a good cop, and he does a bit of detective work and trying to catch the guy he thinks that it is. And even though that doesn't pan out, he and Francis McDormand kind of ride off into the sunset to put their own personal demons to rest in essentially killing a rapist who, even if he's not the person they're looking for, they're going to take out their frustrations on him instead.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think I liked that ending. I think that's why I only gave it 4 out of 5.
I don't know. I'm okay with the ending. I don't know how they would have ended it and have it be completely satisfying.
Oh, see, I thought it would have been satisfying for the person that Sam Rockwell overheard at the bar to be the guy. I thought that'd be good. Actually becomes a semi good detective. Francis McDormand gets closure. Like he lives up to the chief's reputation of him. Like I think that works. And then they're like, nah.
I think it would work. I think it would work too well because that's not the kind of movie that it had been up until that point. I think if you wrapped up the story all nice and neatly in a perfect little bow, I don't think it would fit the story's tone. You know, so much of this movie has been not misadventures, but like Frances McDormand kind of messing up and pushing away those she loves. I think if she was almost rewarded for that behavior, I don't know if that ending would have sat well with me.
And yet I like the ending to La La Land, and I bet you don't, where they don't end up together. I don't understand you.
I've made my peace with that ending. I don't enjoy it though.
All
I
right.
I understand the whole point Damien Chazelle's making. I get it. I just don't like it.
Well, it's the same thing in this movie. Like
But if it's okay, if it's the same thing in this movie, why don't you like it?
I guess because it doesn't involve romance, and I guess I'm a hopeless romantic, but I'm not a hopeless, like, whatever the fuck this is.
That's true, and that is actually a good point. There is no romantic subplot in this whatsoever.
Which I'm kind of glad there isn't.
Well, I was gonna say, you could argue that maybe Peter Dinklage's thing could have been, but
Sort of.
honestly, even though this isn't a long runtime movie, you could cut out his like dinner date scene with her, and you would lose almost no plot.
I mean, it helps, like, I don't know. I mean, it covers up her arson, and I don't know. I feel like it gives her a little bit more depth than just her, like, the grieving mom bit.
That's true, and it does sort of put a final note on her ex-husband's dating the she is legally 19, and that is a point of contention in the movie. We are not saying this person is dating a child. See, and I didn't even notice that because I'm so used to seeing her with blonde hair. It didn't even land for me that that's her. Yes, so I didn't even
Oh,
notice
Samara
that that
Weaving.
was her. Yeah, I see. I didn't even notice that was Samara Weaving. There was a moment when we're watching that scene where she's walking over and she's holding the bottle of wine, and we both kind of collectively had the moment of, is she gonna brain them both over the head with the full bottle of wine?
Which I wanted it to happen, dude. Or at least, like, throw it against the wall or throw it on the table or do something with it. Which, granted, I know that's the whole point, but
I think it would have been fun. I'm glad for her character that she doesn't, because I think it's supposed to show that, she's kind of letting go of her past anger towards this guy, even if in small ways.
I like the anger. I like the little like parasite inside her that's telling her to do these things.
I want to be nice, but the
But the
parasites.
parasites. Exactly.
We have both been watching too many reels, and we can and it shows.
So I
So
feel like that's more or less everything on
yeah, that
Three
that's kind of
Billboards.
what I was gonna say. That's kind of everything on my end. I'm at the end of my list, which is I'm glad I watched this. I don't know if I would watch it
Oh,
again
yeah.
soon, but I would rewatch it eventually.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. Like, no, I don't think it's a consistent rewatch kind of movie,
Just because
but
a lot of this subject matter is pretty serious,
well,
and
not too
I
serious,
think
but like
that even if unintentionally people tend to rewatch things that are fun.
that's true. I mean, people like having fun.
We are here with the hot
Uh,
takes.
that's us. That's what we're known for, Hayden. Is there anything you watched
Absolutely.
this last week that you would recommend or just want to talk about?
No, I mean
Anything in your pack of 100 terrible movies or whatever?
me and you were actually over at our parents' last weekend, and we did end up watching Reign of Fire,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is okay. I remember the good parts being fun, and then a lot of the not so good parts of that movie are more apparent once you go back and actually rewatch the whole movie.
Yeah, I said similar things on my other podcast when I talked about it. It being okay and not great.
Like the actual bits that happen with dragons are fun, and some of the acting and some of the story beats are not.
Well, it's just the pacing of it. Yeah, the like actual like crescendo is 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is a little odd. I remembered it more fondly because I like the design of the dragons in that. So there's that, and then I did end up trying to watch another one of my pack of crap movies, but it was like in black and white, and the audio was really fuzzy. It was already like 10 o'clock at night, and I was tired from work. I fell asleep.
That's fair.
Something that I'm learning, especially with this aforementioned pack of crap movie list here, is that there's a lot of misses and only a few hits.
I think this might be a new I think this might be a new segment for us, Hayden. It could be
What,
called
Hayden's
Hayden's
pack of
Pack of
crap?
Crap. I kind of like it.
Hey, we can do that. I can talk about whatever
Yeah.
stupid bullshit I've watched from my box.
Well, yeah, you got the fast film facts and then Hayden's Pack of Crap.
Well, do we have any alliterative sections for you?
I mean, I don't know. I watch a lot of movies, Hayden.
No, that's true. Speaking of you watching a lot of movies, what did you watch recently that I perhaps have not?
Have you seen A History of Violence?
Yes,
Okay. Have you seen Oh yeah, you definitely haven't seen Columbus. You said you have no interest in that.
probably not. No.
It was very calm. It's beautifully shot. Like it's all the whole movie's about architecture. And John Cho, the guy from what Harold and Kumar and Star Trek,
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's like the son of an architect who's in a coma, and then he befriends this young girl who's like an architect student. It's just him smoking a cig, talking about architecture with her.
That's cool.
Um, it's cool. I wasn't like blown away, but it was fun.
What did you think of A History of Violence?
History of Violence was good. I don't know if it was great. The couple of the family member characters were kind of meh. I th- I mean, there are points though when Viggo Mortensen is like dealing out some violence, and dude, they do not cut away from that, and it is definitely R.
From what I remember, and it's been several years since I've seen it, but from what I remember, it's kind of a slow burn movie
Mm-hmm.
that almost becomes boring at some points.
It does, yes. I also watched I Heart Huckabees, the one that you and I haven't seen, with a like stacked cast and that I knew
Oh,
nothing
right.
about. I would
How was it?
not. Um, I would not recommend it.
Oh, that
There's a
good, huh?
well, it's like three main characters of Mark Wahlberg, Jason Schwartzman, and Jude Law, all hiring existential detectives, which is what's his name?
What's an
Uh,
existential detective?
Dustin Hoffman and some other old chick. Basically, them like the whole movie is them having an existential crisis, and then these people going around audio and visually recording everything these people do in their life, and then basically acting like a therapist about their lives.
I
Uh,
mean,
it
that's kind of an interesting concept. I don't know if
it's
I would
no
watch that
it
as a
that's
movie.
the thing. That's the thing. Like when you first like the first like 10 minutes when they're like talking about what like they're setting the stage, I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. and the writing is interesting, and then it's too much. It's way, way too much to put in like a digestible film.
Huh.
Um, so it gets really muddy, gets really messy. It gets really confusing. But I will say there are parts of it that it's like you've seen Across the Universe, obviously, yeah.
I own Across the Universe, yes.
There are parts of this where they like it's almost like they take how they did. Um, I want to say it was magical mist. What's the kite one? The kite song. You know what I'm
Um,
talking about?
Bean for the benefit of Mr. Kite.
Thank you. The one with the crazy circus stuff when they're out on LSD. Granted, that's like most of the movie. Um,
So
there are
there are
parts
some
of
dream
this.
sequences in this?
There are some. Well, it's weird. Like it's dream sequences, but it's with like real people that are animated to look like they've been cut out of a magazine.
Like South Park?
Sort of. Again, watching it, it looked like an interesting, like edgy student film that got a lot more budget than it probably should have gotten.
Well, just from my recollection of how many people were in this cast, like it had a ton of very talented people in this.
Oh yes, it's stacked, but it just I don't think I really I can't think of anyone I'd actively recommend this to. Not that it was like a horror. It wasn't horrible, but I wouldn't. I mean, there's a point where Jason Schwartzman and his French therapist like take turns like dipping each other's faces in mud like sexually. It's very odd.
Um,
Yeah.
Run that
Oh
by
no,
me
there's
again.
yeah.
How
There's a
how,
couple points where I was
how
watching
do you
this
dunk someone in mud and have it be sexual?
dude like like he's like rubbing like she's standing above him and he's like gooping up mud and like rubbing it up her legs and she's like actively moaning. It's very strange.
That is, you know what? I will probably not view this. That sounds
See,
extremely weird.
this is why Dunk's Movie Corner pod exists so you can hear all about these things and I can expand my background on film so when we actually watch good movies on this podcast I can feel a
Sometimes.
lot I can feel a lot better about them. Like Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
And like the sometimes watch good movie line, next week we're going to be covering The Meg.
Which is not one of those.
We're here to get a good spectrum of quality, and right now we're at a good high point. I feel like we need to dive deep, no pun intended, and get a low point.
Boo, boo, Hayden, boo.
Hey, you come here for the comedy.
Get off the stage. Okay, yeah, next week is the Meg. If you liked this, obviously you know where to find us, hopefully by now on episode 16. But just in case you're new,
We're actually on 17, but we're going to continue to glaze on
17?
past that fact.
Are you sure?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Yes,
so, I
we are.
mean, you can 17, whatever. Either way, you can find us where, Hayden?
You can find us on Instagram at the movie underscore bros podcast or on Spotify
There's
at the Movie Bros podcast.
and we try to post these episodes every week. Usually, we record on around Wednesdays, and we try to post around Sundays. Again, it's kind of a loose schedule, so if you miss us by a day or two, just hang in there. And the only way to make sure you never miss an episode is make sure that bell notification is turned on. That way, you actually
Make
get a
sure you
push
like, you
notification.
follow, you comment. If
You
you
tell
have
a friend
suggestions or again, spread us around. Make sure everyone can be here for this high quality entertainment of which we provide for you.
for free out of the goodness of our hearts.
Well, we could always charge money.
I'm not going to put up a paywall for this. This seems
Hey, we could open like a Patreon or something.
maybe in a couple years when we have more than 1 or 2 followers, yeah. And with that,
This whole section is crap and it's going in the dumpster. It's okay.
no, it's not.
So, and with that, we'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing and appreciating the podcast. Please join us again next time for, as we already mentioned, the Meg, and follow and subscribe so you never miss an update.
And if it's morning, evening, afternoon, whatever, hopefully you have a good rest of whatever time of day it is, and we'll catch you all next week.